Welcome, welcome, welcome. Once again, welcome to Steppa the Flatbush Don TV, where we don't glorify the streets, but instead, we learn from them. The wise learn from the mistakes of others, while the fool keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Insanity. We all make bad choices, but the greatest among us use the lessons learned to help others avoid the pitfalls of the street, death style, where money, gold, opiates, and diamonds become God. I am Steppa, your host. Peace, love, development, unity is our code. Without these four pillars, we're lost. Today's topic is informers. Here tune. Why did I pick that topic, informer? You got a lot of these internet gangsters. They want to come on people's platform and talk about this one's an informer, that one's an informer, as if they want you to move out on what they're saying. But if you have a problem with that individual being an informer or whatever, you need to take your grievance to that person personally and let them know that you don't like what they did or what they're doing. Instead of trying to put a battery in somebody's back so they could react from what you're saying. Anyway, what is an informer? Because I think a lot of people got it misconstrued. Sometimes we think we know, but we don't know. So the dictionary said an informant is a person who informs on another person to the police or other authorities, especially for money or other reward, personal gain. A person who gives information in secret, especially to law enforcement. Now, like I said, you got a lot of internet gangsters that like to point fingers at people, throw stones, and then hide their hands behind their back, which is reckless. Let me make my point clear. My platform promotes unity, not division. I don't push division. If a man does something in his life, I can't judge him. He has to be judged by those who he affect, especially when I don't know him personally or I wasn't really affected by what he did. I can't just go on another man's word without no paperwork or whatever to back up what they're saying. And even if there was paperwork, you want me to move out off of what you're saying. How crazy is that? I'm just bringing certain facts to light. I'm just telling a story. I'm no longer or never was judge, jury, and executioner. That's not my position. So if you expect that from me, you're on the wrong platform. A lot of the informers themselves point fingers at other people, trying to shift the attention from themselves. Sometimes I talk to people and I tell them, informers are part of the game. Some people can't grasp that. They say I'm wrong. But how can I be wrong when informers been here since the beginning of time? As long as you have a weak individual, and when I say weak, I mean a person who's willing to negotiate to get himself out of a situation and sometimes put somebody else in that same situation that they in. That's not for me to decide. The person or the people that they inform on are the fittest one to react to that. That's not for me to get my life off track, worrying about what the next man do, especially when he's not in my circumference. With the Black Panthers, you had infiltrators, informers that was working for law enforcement, but they was pointing fingers at other people and try to make other people believe that these people were the true informants, shifting attention from themselves, getting people murdered. On hearsay. So when a person comes to me and spit that informal reasoning without facts or whatever, I don't want to hear it. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not that reactionary like I used to be when I was younger. When you're younger, you high strung, you make things your business. That's not your business. And sometimes other people play on that. What a man does with his life, he has to live with it, not me. I have my own burden to carry. I got my own cross to bear. And nobody's going to carry my cross for me but me. Like I said, a lot of people want to put batteries in your back and point you in a direction so that you could go do their dirty work for them. You could be stupid if you want. Like I said, you got a lot of people that came out of jail that was labeled informants that's walking around, and all the big mouths that was saying this and that, or talking all that yin yang, are making friends with these individuals and not stepping to them and saying what they were saying before, that this dude is a rat or that dude is a rat. So you can't play favorites. A rat is a rat is a rat. If a dude is an informer, you got to group all informers in the same bag. If you want to play that game, like I said, what the next man do is his business, not mine. Can a legit civilian be held to the same code as the people in the street? No way. You got to be a lame to think like that. How could you hold a civilian who doesn't understand the codes of the street to be held to the same standard? So if somebody witnessed a family member get massacred and decide to testify, does that make them a rat? They're not living by the same codes as those in the street. They didn't choose that life for themselves. Now the people who's involved with these criminal organizations, they chose that life. They're held to certain codes. The people who didn't choose that life are not held to the same codes. Some say, informer for dead. I say, not by my hands. Go ahead and do what you feel you need to do. Because I'm not going to derail my life chasing nobody's ghost. You had dudes, you had crews in the feds calling themselves rat hunters, rat patrol, this and that, pulling up on people, running dudes off a compound, catching extra time on their hands for other people's business because somebody might have told on them. So they want to make everybody's business. They don't want no informers around them, so they trying to run all known informers off the pound. Hey, more power to them. If that's what you want to do with your life, that's what you do. When I was in there, I was doing more constructive things with my life. I was writing books when these dudes was running around hitting dudes with bone crushers and all that. Poking dudes. More power to them. A lot of talkers would not tell informers anything face to face. So which one is worse? Which one is worse, the informer or the coward? Somebody who's talking all that murder one, oh man, this dude is a rat, blah, blah, blah. If I see this dude, I'm gonna do such and such, such and such. A lot of people just talk. They just talk. Real people that do real things don't telegraph their actions. They just do. They're not going to tell you what they're going to do. Because when you tell people what you're going to do, it might get done to you first. And you might not have a chance to do nothing. That's how you know when you're dealing with a serious person or when you're just dealing with a lip professor, somebody who just talk a good one. You got a lot of platforms, a lot of brothers trying to bring certain information to the forefront, and you got a lot of these trolls and internet gangsters getting on the platform trying to put salt in the game. They trying to criticize, they trying to do this, and they don't have no foundation to stand on whatsoever. So like I said, if you got that mindset and you're on that type of time, stay off my platform, please. A wise man said, do not take revenge. The rotten fruits will fall by themselves. I repeat, a wise man said, do not take revenge. The rotten fruits will fall by themselves. Now, I'll give you another saying. When you go for revenge, always dig 2 graves. One for the person that you're going after, and one for yourself. Because in the process of you going after that individual, 9 times out of 10, you will end up killing yourself or damaging yourself. Sometimes worse than the individual that you might have put in the ground. So heed that warning. Don't let other people's business become yours. You take care of your own and don't have other people trying to geese you up to do their dirty work. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe, get them likes up. Get them algorithms working. We're trying to build a platform, family. Help me build a platform so more people could get the message. I'm trying to reach these youths out here. They're going in the wrong direction, and I'm trying to shepherd them into the right direction to avoid the pitfalls of the street. That's my game. That's what I'm trying to achieve. That's the objective. Leading them in the right direction. Law enforcement know what they was doing when they took the leaders off the street. The real leaders, the positive leaders that could teach the people the right way to move. All the strong leaders was removed for a reason. Strike the shepherd, you scatter the sheep. This is your brother Steppa. Peace. One love. Like, share, subscribe if you like the content. More content to follow. You got my email. If you wish me to do a story, provide the information. I'll review it. And if it passes review, I'll put it out there. But don't ask me to do a story and you don't have the research material. I like to know what I'm talking about. I like to research my subject so I don't come off looking like a fool. Peace, love.